Hey guys, it's Boogie here today again, and today we're gonna be talking about something really freaking cool. We're talking about a new game that is coming out this year. It's called VHS, pretty similar to DBD, and we're gonna be bringing up and discussing my thoughts on if it's friendly for the deaf or hard of hearing community. Let's jump right in. Alright, I'm very excited to show you guys this new game that is coming out this year. I have very high hopes for it, really high potential as well. It could be possibly DBD's next competition, literally. A lot of people have been going hyped over it. Some people have low expectations, high expectations. You got everything. So we're gonna be watching this short video that's sort of like put up together with all the videos that they have uploaded on YouTube, and we're gonna be seeing the differences between DBD and VHS. If you want to watch the differences between the two games, definitely go ahead and watch some DBD videos on YouTube as well, or you can watch my videos on my channel. You'll see that there is a huge difference normally when it comes to visual cues and audio cues in general. So this game is definitely way more dependent on auditory and compared to Dead by Daylight. So we're going to be seeing the points, and I will be bringing out some obvious things that they can obviously fix, and maybe something that I can recommend as a hard of hearing player. Right now I don't have my hearing aids on, so I probably will not pick up any much in this video, so I'm going to put the volume all the way up so I can be able to pick up some sounds, and then we pointed out some visual cues that should be added, but it's a little bit harder in this game compared to DBD. But yeah, like, go ahead and watch it.
I'm pretty sure he just transformed in library.
So,
Yep.
right now, this guy is basically spectating both sides. As you can tell, there are no scratch marks when they are not injured. We can't really like pinpoint where survivor will be. However, when they're injured, they leave sort of like a speckle on the floor, as you can see, right over here. So if I can pause it, I can kind of show you. It's right there.
Take it over this way, Kyle.
Yeah, they're gonna. It's sort of like scratch marks, but it's not really scratch marks. They leave a little like small circles on the floor only when they're injured though. So you know, when they're not injured, it's gonna be pretty difficult. But in addition to this, there are icons when you're playing Survivor as well, and Killer. So there's gonna be booths where they're gonna be creating weapons and stuff like that. You will be able to see icons of that as well. That is what I really like. Also, another great point to bring up is that each survivor will be able to have information on their locations for their entire team, included on the killer as well. Killer will not be able to see where the survivors will be, but there are information where they are. For example, Kyle in the courtyard, dressing room, coming to class, main entrance. So I think that's a really nice way of sort of helping people who are not in VT. They can sort of use that information to find survivors and find their friends and stuff. I really like that. That's a very nice touch that DBD should add. But normally DBD doesn't have like as much as indoor map there, so it'll be a little bit hard to try to figure it out.
What I just heard was group party at science.
Yeah, the game looks great. I love it. Really smart. I like the healing process. Very, very cool. The game process it works a little bit differently compared to Dead by Daylight. I would say there's a lot more things that you have to do in this game. But yeah, the killer also has, you know, icons around the map, which I really enjoy. And certain powers, right? If you play as killer, with certain powers you will be able to find survivors easier. So for example, the doll master or the werewolf have powers. Yeah, you can see. Let me just go back for a second. Notice how there's you'll be able to see that as killer, which is a good thing when they're injured. So we can sort of use that. Perhaps maybe they could just make it a little bit more visible, especially for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. As you know, if you're deaf or hard of hearing, you will struggle on directional audio. And sometimes we go blind. We're not actually blind, but we lack awareness sometimes of where people might be and stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend making that a little bit bigger. So getting to you'll see where the survivor has been downed. This is the chemistry booth where they make weapons and stuff. You can also heal with these little med kits on the wall, which is really cool.
I got you.
But yeah.
Like,
overall, very great game. I'm super excited. Hopefully, I can get a key to play this game. I'm really excited. I would love to play it and basically make a new video on it and see what is my experience with this game, see how hard it is compared to Dead by Daylight. As always, you always have to, you know, practice and get them game sense in order to play this game well, or any other game as well. But there's a difference between it being really difficult or having a lack of visual cues, right, to help people who are disabled. So it's always good to add some visual cues, add more visual cues to help people who are disabled. Even if like, just in a way that it can't be a beat. So right now we're watching a Doll Master. We're gonna look through different colors, some, you know, gameplay. As you can see, yeah, the little marks in the floor, but it's not as visible. It should be more visible in my opinion. The Doll Master I think would be a great choice for Death or Hardy Pain players, mainly because you can also transfer between different dolls, or the killer. And I think that's a fantastic way of it's sort of like playing, Victor and Charlotte, right, on Dead by Daylight. They have the same way of being worked, right? Same way of, you know, playing as Victor or Charlotte. I think the Doll Master would be a great killer to play, or if you're Death or Hardy Pain. And they also have different icons, right, for each doll, and you could actually transfer, or just sit in one place, transfer to different dolls, and get more visual information on where the survivors might be. As you can see, the killer also has information of where they are. Library secret stairs, I could not pronounce anything. But yeah, they also have the information of where they are. I'm not exactly sure what these icons mean, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Also, I think you can actually put dolls, right? Or you can find dolls, or just place the dolls in really tricky areas, right? Yeah, you can place the dolls in different areas, you know, get survivors really confused and scared and stuff like that, and they won't know where exactly is the doll. So I think it's really cool. So right now they're playing one of the dolls, and they also have a lunge, right? You can jump on the doll, which is really cool. Right now this is the werewolf. So the werewolf has a power where he can get enraged, right? And track survivors with a visual cue around it, which I think is fantastic. I think they should add that just in general. Like a little red stain on the corners, so that way you know if you're close by. Honestly, the game is entirely audio dependent, which means you only need to depend on the chemistry stations, what the survivors are doing, walking, running. As you can see, he's using the power, right? He's hunting. And the heartbeat gets louder, and the visual cue will basically just turn red if you're close to a survivor. So you can use his hunting power for that. The rage also helped him go berserk and, you know, run faster, I believe. Also, I think they should change that a little bit. Instead of like going up too high, maybe just lower it a little bit, so that way you can get more visual information. In Dead by Daylight, if you miss an attack or if they stun you, right, you do look down, but just for a period of time. I don't think the killer should look up way too high, just to help those who are disabled to get more visual information out of it. You know, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to make this game more accessible for those who are disabled, and this game is amazing. Great. I love the icons. People should, honestly, like other game developers or companies should keep that in mind. Add more icons. I think they have a ping system, I believe. I'm not sure they do, but I think they do. I would have to check in their Discord and double check. But if they do have a ping system, fantastic. We can use that to an advantage. If you're disabled, you can use that. A survivor, so a ping system is great. I love that you could, you know, also emote. That's amazing. But yeah, I think the only problems, also yeah, they do have perks as well. Same thing as Dead by Daylight. Just keep that in mind. I'm not sure what perk they have right now, but they did mention that they do have some visual cue perks. I think they could definitely keep working on, you know, more visual cue perks that could help with the disabled. So I'm very excited about that. So the only issue really is just survivors running away, right? And basically just leaving marks. I think there should be more marks in terms of them not being injured. Just like Dead by Daylight had scratch marks, very visible, and there are perks that amplify that, right? Maybe there's perks that can give you more spots in the floor when they're injured. Maybe something more brighter. something to amplify something. And I think, making perks based around that would be great. Not sure what the point I should bring up. The layout is pretty similar. As you can see, they have more powers in general, I believe. There's 4 types and top. I think these are the boosts that they have to shut down in Killer. I'm not really sure. I've watched a couple of videos on that, but not entirely Killer. I've watched more on Survivor. So I'm still trying to get a glimpse of how this game works in general. So, let's see. Everything looks great. I like the power, I like the layout. Very comfortable. It's 80s style, so I think it's very cool. I think it's Killer. Yeah, so I think it's great. They do have these icons, right, where somebody's being healed. Let me go back and see if the Jock had it. Yeah, hold on. He was running away, and there was a... Right there, yeah. So there are icons where somebody's being healed, which is amazing, by the way. That is extremely helpful. I think they should add that more on Killer as well. Like maybe a icon where it just tells you, oh, somebody left a locker, or somebody left his room, something that's pretty far, right? Or close, or whatever. And maybe you can make that last for a couple of seconds or so. I think that'd be great. Honestly, not a lot of changes to be made, but I think they should add a wider or more brighter trail to be left when they're injured, or even not injured. Maybe something else, like a visual cue on the screen, that will help a lot. At Survivor, obviously, you have a better field of view, so I think they should keep it that way. But Survivor is not too bad, it's pretty good. However, they should definitely add a visual cue again at Survivor. The killer is nearby, you wouldn't exactly know, right? And for Killer, same thing as well. It's just a matter of translating it to visual cues a little bit better. And so that way, survivors or killers who are deaf or hard of hearing, they don't need to struggle that much to track survivors. Biggest problem is normally to tracking survivors, right? And especially when you're hunting them or whatever. Like, for example, when I was watching the werewolf video, I was struggling to try to understand, how did this guy know where the survivor is going? Like, I am watching him chase this go down, right? And it's just crazy because I probably would have a hard time trying to find him. How did he know that she went here or there or whatever, right? And I just felt like they still work on that, and the game can be extremely difficult if you have no video cue to rely on, especially when they're injured or not injured or whatever. You simply cannot rely on audio, especially for deaf players, and there are ways to work around that. So I just really hope that they can make some changes. Alright, that will be it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. What do you guys think of the game? I'm super excited, and I really hope I can get a key so I can better analyze the game and find a way to make the game more accessible for deaf and hard of hearing players. And if you have any recommendations on how they can make this a little bit more accessible for these kind of players, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to know, I also I stream on Twitch anytime. I don't have a set schedule right now, I'm trying to change it. And also posting TikTok, funny clips of every game that I play. I am branching out to variety and normally horror games. If you like my stuff my stuff is in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with your friends, and yeah, alright, I'll see you guys later.